talk to him next. So another big idea that's part of this conversation, as any technology market knows, we're doing two things in non-traditional markets, right? We're building up a market in any way possible, but we also are trying to be representative of the cities that we represent. So inclusivity is, again, gender balance, racial balance, socioeconomic balance. There's so many different ways that inclusivity matters. So we were really, it was really important to us to get someone from Jumply, who's doing great work you'll hear about in a moment. But we have the founder, Amaka Okoronkwo, to talk a little bit about inclusivity and the work she's done specifically around gender issues. So, Amaka?
Hi guys. Just like him, I have no slides either, so we're just gonna have a conversation here. So, like you mentioned, my name is Amaka. I'm the founder of Jumply, which is a funding platform for women entrepreneurs. So my three big ideas are, what if more women were funded? What if we don't have the huge discrepancies we have today for funding as it relates to women entrepreneurs? What if more startups included women in company formation? What if more companies or more startups had women in executive roles? Lastly, what if we took it back to the days of maybe my upbringing in Nigeria, where it was more of a community effort? A lot of things you did were community effort. So, there are about 8.3 women entrepreneurs in the US. These women account for about 30% of business owners in the United States. Yet they receive about 6% of traditional funding. And this is just traditional funding, not VC or angel investments. Yet they employ about more than 40% of people than McDonald's, IBM, and Walmart do combined. So they're employing 40% more people than McDonald's, IBM, and Walmart put together. So, why does this matter? Why should you care? Why should I care? Why should you listen? Why should this be a huge idea? The stats, recent statistics are telling us that by 2018, women entrepreneurs, or women in general, are expected to create over half of the 9.72 million jobs expected by 2018. How can they really do this with 6% of traditional funding? If we're expecting them to create half of the jobs expected by 2018, but you're giving them less than 6% of funding, something that doesn't add up. Again, 2 million of those jobs are expected in the first year alone. Maybe this should, maybe now you're starting to see why we should care, because this is your economy, my economy. We all live in this ecosystem. They're not, it's not where these stats are saying women entrepreneurs are doing very well, they're doing great, it's an up and coming ecosystem. But saying all of this is not to say everything is roses and peaches. There's still a lot of troubles that face women entrepreneurs today. Some of those troubles are not, are a few things I would personally say women, are roadblocks that women entrepreneurs or women in general have to overcome on their own and not a societal problem. On average, most women businesses are still smaller, even though they're creating businesses at 1.5 times the number of male entrepreneurs. Those businesses are still smaller on average than their male counterparts. So we're creating a lot more businesses, but it's still smaller than what everyone else is doing. So there's still a gap there that needs to be looked very deeply at. Another one is access to vital networks. Networks that lead to funding, networks that lead to the right advisors, the right mentors. And lastly, self-limiting views of what does a successful entrepreneur look like. Is a successful entrepreneur, a successful person in business supposed to be, can I be successful if I have a family at home I have to care for, but have this huge business, this fast-growing business, or fast-growing company or startup? Am I successful if I'm not paying enough attention to, or you think you're not spending enough time at home with your family or with your kids, but you have a thriving startup? What does that look like for a woman entrepreneur? So those are a few of the views that I think are self-limiting, because you have to juggle, we all have to juggle a lot of things, but I think women entrepreneurs have to juggle, it's very, you feel very guilty. Or, don't put in a lot of time in my startup, or putting a lot of time in my company, but I'm not putting a lot of time with my family. So that's the huge self-limiting, 3 of the self-limiting problems with women entrepreneurship. So again, lastly, taking it back again to my 3 big views. The third one was, what if we could take it back to my upbringing in Nigeria, where a lot of things were communal. So growing up in Nigeria, let's say for example, a woman was cooking and she didn't have an ingredient at home. What my grandmother would do when I was growing up was give me or my little sister a bowl or a cup and say, yeah, go around the neighborhood and go get me salt or pepper, whatever it is she needed. And I'd run around, with a little bowl, a little cup, or whatever it is she gave me. And I'd just go to every house and say, oh yeah, she needs this. And it was just normal. That's how things were done. That's how it was done. So what if we could apply the same concept or the same principle to funding for women entrepreneurs? What if it was a communal effort? What if we said, okay, this woman wants to start a business, or she wants to grow her business, and we all as a society came together and made that happen? That's what we're calling crowdfunding today. But I was saying to someone, women have been crowdsourcing or crowdfunding since the beginning of time. So what if we brought that back today? What if, right now it's a cool thing, crowdfunding, it's digitalized now. It's, on the internet, which makes it, you're able to reach, millions more people from around the world that you never knew. But when I was growing up, my grandmother really had those women in the community that she knew. So what if we took this on a larger scale to say, okay, now we're no longer getting salt or yams together or vegetables together for my grandmother to cook, but now we're getting resources or financial resources or resources of any kind to build great businesses, to build businesses that women don't feel guilty for doing, because again, it's a very communal effort. So the 3 big ideas again are, what if we funded more women? We see what that does for the economy. What if we had more women on executive positions? I didn't touch on that, but recent stats again say women are doing, I think, 33% better than their male counterparts with 12% less funding, less capital. Again, it's not saying, oh, let's now build all women companies, but I think that an infusion of women and male executives or women and male founders together in one company or together in different areas of business is beneficial to all parties involved. And then lastly, again, taking it back to communal funding or community-based businesses. Thank you.